So when we get to strategic planning, there's this whole hierarchy of goals, and this is kind of fun. I had an organization that I've worked with that I'll be using as an example where we were doing strategic planning, and we were getting a lot of pushback from one of the departments when we were doing our strategic planning process, because we were working out what's the long-term objectives of the organization. And this one department was giving us pushback saying, we've already done our strategic plan. We've been doing strategic plans for years. And I thought, that's great. But how can you have a strategic plan without knowing where the organization's going? So that's getting into this hierarchy of goals. There is kind of a top-down approach to determining out where the organization is headed, starting out with vision, mission, and then I'll talk a little bit about the language we use, objective strategies, and then business unit level, and ultimately department level, and this is a marketing class, so we'd be talking about marketing plan. When it comes to planning, again, there's different levels of the organization. Each level needs to do planning, but it has to be a top-down process, because what the strategic direction for the corporation is has to be the strategic direction for the subordinate units. And so that has to happen first. And then whatever the decisions are at the top, those become constraints or objectives. They're kind of dictated at the lower level. So if the goal for the corporation is a 5% return on investment, any planning that happens at any lower levels needs to have 5% return on investment as part of their plan. So the highest level planning is vision and mission, and this is a fun place to play because many times it's very, working with this right now with an organization, and I don't want to mention any names, but it starts with SFSU. And I have found this in every situation that I've been in, that it's really easy to get agreement and buy-in on generalities, but it's when you get to the specifics that we start to have disagreements. And what makes it even more fun is many times when we're discussing planning, we'll use terms that everybody understands, but different people will have a different interpretation of what that means. So, I want progress. What does progress mean for you? And what does progress, your progress might be increasing sales, your progress might be increasing diversity. But we both agree with progress. And it's only when you get down to the detail level that when we start saying, what does progress really mean, that we find out that we perhaps aren't on the same page. So the fun stuff is the vision, because that's the big generality. And this really is the big picture. These are the kinds of questions: is what business are we in? What is the sandbox that we're playing in? Are we a profit company, a not-for-profit company? Are we geographically limited? Are we global? These are the big picture questions. And generally, it's the top management does this. In a founder-led organization, the founder determines what the long-term direction is, or what the big picture is for the organization. In a corporate structure, it would be top management. And having worked a little bit with family businesses, anybody here in a family business situation? You are? One of the issues that I've seen in family business situations is the founder may have a vision, but it's not explicit. And then you, as the next generation, are trying to guess. Is that any resonance there? And then when you guess wrong, you get clobbered. Anyways, so the point is that this is the job of the top person. And then when you talk your management classes, sometimes there's disagreement as to vision and mission. Mission is more specific. Did I talk about mission? I didn't talk about mission. Say again? I have not talked about, and I'm just saying that it's not on the slide. So I have to make this up as we go. Okay. So vision is the big picture. Mission is much more specific. Mission should be actionable. This is where marketing myopia comes in. And a mission statement should address what it is that you do, how you do it, who you do it with. And a lot of times there's, what's the term? Uplifting and a motivational component to it. And again, vision, a lot of times that is more motivational, uplifting, and less specific. But a mission statement needs to be something that you can work on. A mission statement needs to be specific enough so that if you as an employee have a brilliant idea, you should be able to go to the mission statement and determine whether or not that's an idea that you should be bringing to your bosses because the organization could get behind it. So as an example, this is an organization I worked with, and believe me, this took some time. And what they were using as their mission statement was this first thing, which is a beautiful statement, is the vision is that every child lives in a world where they feel safe, loved, and celebrated. And who's against that? Is there anybody here who wants to, make children feel miserable? And the problem was they were using that as their mission statement, but it didn't speak to what it was that they were doing and what it was, how they do it and who they do it to and what they do it with. And it ended up that they were chasing butterflies. Every time a good idea comes along, oh, we're going to do this because that makes children feel safe. And so I was working with them to take a look at what is it that you actually do. And we all agree that the vision is a world where people feel safe, loved, and celebrated, but how do we do that? And the organization's primary goal, activity is to do workshops in junior high schools and high schools where they bring in community members and faculty and students and go through a series of exercises to get them connected with each other. And the finding is when students are connected with each other, things like alcoholism, things like truancy, things like bullying tend to diminish because when we know each other and trust each other, that stuff kind of goes away. So we worked with them and came up with a mission, which again speaks to what they do, how they do it, who they do it to. Youth in their communities with experiential workshops that demonstrate the possibility of love and connection through the celebration of diversity, truth, and full expression. And each of those workshops contributes to a world where people feel safe, loved, and celebrated. But what happened is now when we come up with new program ideas, we can be much more clear, is this consistent with what we're set up to do, or is this going to require a whole other infrastructure to deliver that we don't have? So again, vision and mission.